and hackers keep cutting my video. What are the odds that there's these noise campaigns, there's these hackers, there's the fumes, I have over 22 witnesses on record. What are the odds of all that? Obviously, I'm right about them interfering and them, we look at the principles here. I'm serving God, I'm telling the truth. They can't even stay true to what they said on paper, like Martin Luther King said. They can't give me my constitutional rights. The FBI, law enforcement, they're helping them do these things. They're not doing the right thing. I've sent them letters. Once I've sent them letters, once I've made complaints, once I've got their attention, they can't say that it's not their problem. It is. And they're failing to respond. So they're part of the devil's spirit definitively. And that's too many. The Justice Department, that's too many groups that work for the state to just say that's just them and them. No, it's also the spirit of everyone who doesn't, it's also the spirit of everyone who doesn't obey God through me. Okay, so where are we here? So I was talking about how the devil's time is short, and the woman was given the two wings of a great eagle so that she might fly to the place prepared for her in the wilderness, where she could be taken care of for a time, times and a half, a time. The place out of the serpent's reach. So the woman is in the spiritual realm, out of the serpent's reach. Just like my soul is in the spiritual realm, it was snatched up right away to God's throne before they could do any damage. Okay, according to their own book and also according to universal logic. Okay, I was talking about how the eagle, right? They're handed over to wicked people, despicable people who are symbolized by the shadow of the eagle. But, it's just like with the dove. The dove is called a senseless and foolish animal in the Bible. And at the same time, the Spirit of God is said to come down in the form of a dove, okay, in the New Testament. So the eagle, and just like with the figs can be the fruit of God. They can be the fig tree of wicked people that are useless to God, the fruits of the wicked. So it's this common pattern we see where the eagle is symbolizing God, but it's also symbolizing Zeus and America and Babylon and all these worldly flesh-based ideas that God doesn't approve of. Okay, pretty straightforward. Okay, those are the countries that are responsible for killing people who are trying to do God's work, whether they're right or wrong, at the first sign that they're trying to do God's work, like Martin Luther King, his family members, Malcolm X, what have you. Okay, whether they're right or wrong. Anyway, where were we here? Then from his mouth the serpent spewed water like a river to overtake the woman and sweep her away with the torrent. Again, the water he's spewing from his mouth is not the living water of God. It's the water of affliction, the water of wickedness and evil. But the earth helped the woman by opening its mouth and swallowing the river that the dragon had spewed out of its mouth. So the earth, unwittingly or otherwise, okay, the spirit of the inhabitants of the earth, their actions prevented this thing from occurring. Then the dragon was enraged at the woman and went off to wage war against the rest of her offspring, those who keep God's commands, those who keep God's commands, those who keep God's commands, and hold fast their testimony about Jesus. Not just those who believe in God, because the devil believes in God. That's why he's in the spiritual realm waging war against God's servants and the woman and so on and so forth to the best of his ability, which is not very good. Fighting with Michael and so on and so forth. Because faith without works is dead. You have to actually obey the commands, which means bear fruit. Christ said, remain in me and bear fruit, because any branch that doesn't bear fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire when he gives the explanation of the true vine. So it's pretty straightforward here. You see how when I describe this, it's using reason and logic. Okay, just like in John 10, when Christ says, he refers to Psalm 82, he says, how can you say that I'm not the Son of God? When Psalm 82 calls the wicked people who received God's commands but didn't follow them the sons of God. So why did he then accuse them of blasphemy? It's the same thing with me. It is reason and logic. I don't make this up. I'm not delusional. I use sound reason and logic. I've offered money if people can prove me wrong. They weren't able to. So therefore it stands as the truth, the way, the truth, and the life, wisdom, justice, and righteousness when I say that I'm Christ. I'm the Christos. I'm the anointed. I'm set apart by God as the top martial arts ever. The reason why kings wear a sword, the King of Kings, okay, establishing my throne in righteous intensity. Proverbs 16:12, the throne is established in righteousness. Isaiah 16:5, I believe it is, seeking and speeding the causes of righteousness and justice. Okay, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness. So the righteousness is there, the logic is there, the wisdom, which is the fruit of the righteousness, is there, and it all points to me, and that shows you that God has set me apart and anointed me as the true leader of humanity, the Christos, the Christ.